chosen ones. You stayed quiet about this injustice, and it's going to unfold in a truly divine way. The most devastating weapon in the spiritual arsenal isn't rage, revenge, or retaliation. It's strategic silence that activates cosmic forces beyond human comprehension. Something extraordinary is unfolding in the invisible dimensions surrounding your consciousness. While they were celebrating what looked like your defeat, they were actually triggering their own cosmic audit. This revelation will show you exactly how your restraint became the most sophisticated form of warfare ever deployed against darkness. Think of it like this. They brought knives to a nuclear war, not realizing your silence was the countdown sequence to a cosmic detonation that will reshape reality itself around the truth they tried to bury. There's knowledge burning inside you now. Downloads from realms beyond the veil, revelations about the true nature of what transpired. You've been chosen as the vessel for these insights, not to broadcast them to deaf ears, but to hold them sacred until the appointed hour. This wisdom isn't meant for casual conversation. It's a sacred transmission entrusted to you because your consciousness could handle its weight. What you know about this injustice goes beyond evidence, beyond logic. It touches the realm of pure knowing. You've glimpsed behind the curtain of reality and seen the mechanisms of cause and effect that govern this universe with perfect precision. Your discretion now serves the highest good. The sacred must be protected from profane eyes until the time of revelation. You've started noticing synchronicities that confirm what you already sensed, patterns that validate your deepest knowing about what really happened. The universe speaks in code to those who've learned its language through suffering, transformed into wisdom. Every time they attempted to gaslight you into questioning your reality, something would appear, a conversation overheard, a document glimpsed, a piece of evidence that fell into your awareness like manna from heaven. Your intuition wasn't playing tricks on you. It was operating as a sophisticated detection system, calibrated to frequencies of truth they couldn't scramble or interfere with. Those who orchestrated chaos against you never understood this fundamental law. That which is concealed in darkness must eventually face the light. Their temporary victory was always an illusion, a cosmic misdirection while greater forces aligned for the ultimate reveal. This awareness doesn't stem from paranoia. It stems from your awakened senses that detect disturbances in the field that others miss completely. The veil between worlds has thinned for you, and now you perceive what was always there but previously invisible to your consciousness. You see the energy signatures behind people's words, the motivations hidden beneath their actions, the fear driving their need to control what they cannot understand. This heightened perception isn't a burden, it's a superpower they accidentally activated through their attacks. Yet even under this microscope of attention, you continue to radiate. That's what confounds them most. Despite their attempts to dim your light, to make you contract in fear, you expand instead. New beginnings splash like fresh water against ancient stone, reshaping your reality despite their desperate attempts to keep you confined to old narratives. The very injustice they inflicted became the catalyst for your spiritual evolution beyond anything they could have imagined. While they remained trapped in the lower frequencies of manipulation and control, you were being upgraded to operate from dimensions where their tactics become not just ineffective, but literally impossible to sustain. Their jealousy is merely confirmation. Would they expend such energy monitoring a powerless being? No, they watch because you represent what they fear most, authentic power that cannot be granted or revoked by external authority, power that flows from source through an uncorrupted vessel. Your very existence challenges their illusion of control. Now witness the unraveling of those who orchestrated injustice against you. See how their coordinated attacks dissolve into desperate self-preservation. The liar now stands confused by their own web of deception. The player suddenly realizes they're in a game with rules they never fully understood. Their digital fingerprints, once carelessly left across texts, emails, documents, now represent existential threat. Watch them scramble to delete, to alter records, to create confusion where once they created conspiracy. But the universal law of evidence brooks no exception. What has been set in motion cannot be completely erased from the cosmic record. This confusion among your adversaries isn't accidental, it's divinely orchestrated chaos, designed to reveal truth through contrast. As they attempt to cover tracks, they only create more obvious disruptions in the field. As they reach out to allies for support, they expose the full network of complicity. As they attempt to rewrite history, the original script becomes more clearly defined against their clumsy revisions. Their financial foundations begin to crack beneath them. The resources they wielded against you start to diminish through the natural law of energetic return. What they projected outward now reflects back inward with mathematical precision. The universe operates on perfect equations. Nothing is ever truly lost, merely transformed and returned to its point of origin. Mark these words with the full attention of your soul. A revelation approaches that requires no action on your part. Divine timing, that mysterious force that operates beyond human calendars and convenience, has been at work all along, moving pieces on the cosmic chessboard while you held your position with dignity. The very mechanisms they used against you are being rewired to expose them. The corruption they thought was safely hidden will be thrust into light so harsh it leaves nowhere to hide. But watch how their own words become evidence against them. Every lie they told is now creating contradictions they can't resolve. Every manipulation they attempted is now creating confusion in their own ranks. Every secret they thought was safely buried is now pushing against the surface of their carefully constructed reality, demanding to be revealed. The technology they used to monitor you is now monitoring them. The networks they employed to spread disinformation about your character are now carrying information about their true nature. The very systems they weaponized against your reputation are being turned back on themselves with surgical precision that would be impossible to orchestrate through human planning alone. Their digital communications, once thought secure and private, now exist as permanent records in databases they don't control. The financial transactions they believed were untraceable are now creating patterns that sophisticated analysis can decode. The coordination they imagined was invisible is now mapped out like a blueprint of their own conspiracy against universal law. The thief who thought themselves invisible now stands spotlighted on the universal stage. Those who aligned against you, the strange neighbors, the casual betrayers, the calculated opponents, will witness this revelation with shocked recognition. Some will deny until denial becomes impossible. Others will scramble to distance themselves from what they once eagerly participated in. Still others will experience the profound spiritual awakening that comes from witnessing consequences in their purest form. Cosmic mathematics operates through natural law rather than supernatural intervention. Their own choices created the equation, and the universe is simply solving it. The energy they sent toward your destruction is returning to them, according to principles as reliable as gravity, as predictable as the sunrise, as inevitable as the changing seasons. None of this requires your orchestration. While they plotted, a greater intelligence plotted. While they schemed in rooms of their own making, the very fabric of reality schemed in dimensions they cannot access. Your role was never to force this justice. Your role was to stand firm in your truth while universal law worked with meticulous precision toward inevitable revelation. What those who attacked you never understood, what couldn't be comprehended from their limited frequency, was that their strikes were actually initiations disguised as warfare. Each blow against you catalyzed an evolution within your spiritual DNA. Their attempts to diminish you became the very pressure that transformed your coal consciousness into diamond awareness. This spiritual upgrade wasn't accidental, it was the divine purpose hidden within the pain all along. The fire meant to destroy you instead forged you into a vessel capable of holding higher frequencies of truth. The lessons embedded within injustice weren't punishments, but accelerated evolution disguised as suffering. Your lineage stands witness to this transformation. Ancient wisdom flows through your bloodline, activated by the very challenges that seemed most personal and arbitrary. What appeared as random cruelty was actually precise spiritual surgery, removing exactly what blocked your highest expression and developing exactly what your soul needed for its next phase of expansion. Soon you'll experience what mystics throughout time have recognized as the Great Reversal, that mysterious turning point when all that seemed to be working against you suddenly reveals itself as having worked for your highest becoming all along. The business ventures that seemed blocked will suddenly flow with synchronized ease. The creative expression that felt stifled will burst forth with renewed power. The connections that were severed will be replaced by alliances of such perfect resonance you'll marvel at the exchange. Your financial reality, which may have been deliberately sabotaged or mysteriously obstructed, will begin flowing with momentum that compounds exponentially. Opportunities that were blocked will not only open but multiply beyond your previous imagination. The abundance others tried to prevent will manifest with such force that it creates its own gravitational field, attracting additional resources and possibilities that weren't even on your original radar. The most beautiful aspect of this reversal: it happens without you needing to lower yourself to their operational level. You don't have to become manipulative to overcome manipulation. You don't have to become deceptive to defeat deception. The very integrity others tried to exploit becomes the foundation of your victory, and your expansion happens through alignment with forces that operate at frequencies your former enemies cannot access or interfere with. Before this divine unfoldment completes its arc, prepare yourself for that predictable outburst from those who sense their control slipping away. As truth inches closer to revelation, as their manipulation loses effectiveness, as their confusion intensifies, their desperate grasp for power will manifest as rage. This display isn't strength, it's the final gasp of a dying paradigm. The angry outburst directed toward your fulfillment, toward your expansion, toward your persistence, signals nothing less than their recognition of impending exposure. They rage not against you, but against the cosmic order that cannot be permanently corrupted, only temporarily distorted. Witness this tantrum with the detached compassion of one who understands its root cause. You'll notice their desperation takes predictable forms. They'll suddenly become overly concerned with your activities, reaching out through mutual connections to gather intelligence they hope will give them some advantage. They'll attempt to re-engage with you directly, testing whether their old methods of manipulation still hold power over your consciousness. Watch how they try to provoke you into reaction, desperately hoping to draw you back into the lower frequency where their weapons work effectively. They'll use whatever emotional triggers they believe still have power over you: guilt, fear, anger, or even false appeals to sympathy. But these attempts will feel hollow to you now, like echoes of a language you once spoke but have since evolved beyond. Their social media activity will become erratic, alternating between desperate attempts to appear successful and happy, and veiled references to being victimized by circumstances beyond their control. They cannot directly reference you or the situation, but their posts will carry undertones that reveal their obsessive mental preoccupation with the consequences they sense approaching. Some will suddenly develop mysterious health issues. The stress of maintaining deception while sensing inevitable exposure creates physical manifestations in their bodies. Others will experience sudden financial pressures or relationship problems, as the energy they sent toward disrupting your life returns to disrupt theirs with compound interest. Their anger masks terror, the existential fear of facing consequences deliberately set in motion through conscious choice. The universe grants tremendous freedom of action, but never separates action from effect. This immutable law now closes around them like a net woven from their own decisions. Their spiritual downgrade contrasts starkly with your elevation. As your consciousness expands to hold more light, more truth, more authentic power, theirs contracts under the weight of denial, deception, and desperate self-preservation. This diverging path wasn't your creation, it was their choice manifested through cosmic law. The most fascinating aspect of this phase is how their attempts to regain control only accelerate their loss of control. Every manipulation they attempt backfires. Every lie they tell creates new contradictions. Every ally they try to recruit eventually sees through their desperation and distances themselves from the obvious instability. Now step back with expanded awareness and observe the pattern emerging from what once seemed chaotic. See how each attack against you fits perfectly into a larger design for your awakening. Notice how each betrayal severed exactly the connections that would have hindered your highest path. Recognize how each obstacle forced the development of precisely the spiritual muscles needed for your soul's next evolution. The nosy ones who monitored your abundance didn't realize they were witnessing a demonstration of universal principle. The quiet figure operating from shadows didn't understand they were merely playing an assigned role in your activation sequence. The one obsessed with your movements never grasped they were watching a cosmic initiation unfold in human form. This divine orchestration transcends human orchestration, as the ocean transcends a drop of water. Your persecutors believed themselves authors of your story when they were merely characters in a narrative written at levels of consciousness they cannot access. Their limited perspective could not grasp the multi-dimensional chess being played through their predictable actions. The seasons of revelation unfold without your enforcement because they follow the natural law of cosmic timing. Universal law enforces itself with perfect precision. This truth has sustained mystics through persecution across millennia. When human systems of justice fail, corrupted by the very energies they claim to regulate, cosmic justice continues its meticulous accounting, with neither hurry nor delay. Throughout this orchestrated chaos, protection surrounded you, not always in forms you could recognize, not always through interventions you could attribute to higher forces. The energy formed a shield around your field, deflecting what would have destroyed a less protected being. This divine protection responded proportionally to authentic threat. When attacks intensified, so did the fortress around your energy. When subtle manipulations replaced direct assault, your intuitive discernment heightened to detect what physical senses might miss. This wasn't coincidence, it was divine intelligence adapting its protection to meet evolving challenges. Consider how many near disasters you've avoided without even realizing it. Opportunities that seemed perfect but felt wrong in your gut, preventing you from walking into carefully laid traps. People who tried to enter your life at strategic moments but something indefinable made you maintain distance. Investments or decisions that looked promising but your inner guidance steered you away from financial or emotional ruin. Your dreams began providing intelligence that your waking mind couldn't access through ordinary channels. Symbolic messages, warning scenarios, and prophetic glimpses that prepared you for challenges before they manifested in physical reality. Your subconscious became a receiving station for cosmic intelligence broadcasts, specifically calibrated to your protection and advancement. Even your apparent isolation during the worst periods served a protective function. The loneliness you sometimes felt was actually cosmic quarantine, keeping you separated from influences that would have contaminated your clarity or led you into compromising situations. The universe temporarily reduces your social circle to prevent interference with the delicate process of your spiritual upgrade. Your enemies believed you stood alone because they could not perceive the legions standing guard around you. Their spiritual blindness prevented them from seeing what your increasing sensitivity revealed. No chosen one ever walks unaccompanied through the fire of initiation. The very forces that selected you for this role ensured you would have exactly the protection needed to fulfill it. The protection extended beyond physical safety into realms of consciousness and energy. Your thoughts were shielded from psychic attack. Your emotions were buffered from artificial manipulation. Your decision-making capacity was preserved from confusion and doubt that lesser beings would have experienced under similar assault. This doesn't mean you've been spared pain. Protection never promised the absence of suffering. It promised presence of purpose within that suffering. It ensured not that you would avoid all wounds, but that no wound would be fatal to your mission. The difference proves crucial for understanding the nature of spiritual warfare and cosmic justice. Some of your protections operated through seeming coincidences, so perfectly timed they could only be divine intervention, technical difficulties that prevented harmful communications from reaching you at vulnerable moments, weather events that altered plans and prevented you from being in the wrong place at the wrong time, system glitches that blocked financial transactions that would have put you at risk. Even your enemies' successes against you were limited by invisible constraints they couldn't perceive. They could wound you but not destroy you. They could inconvenience you but not stop you. They could delay your progress but not prevent your ultimate victory. Some force was measuring out their permissions with surgical precision, allowing exactly enough challenge to forge your strength without exceeding your capacity to overcome. As revelation accelerates, prepare for the unmasking of false friends, those who presented loyalty while serving other masters. This exposure might sting initially, but recognize it as another layer of protection, another removal of what would have eventually sabotaged your highest path. The fake good person with gambling problems, the obsessed stalker cloaked in spiritual language, the manipulative group operating through subtle control rather than authentic power, all these figures around you will face the harsh light of truth as this divine unveiling continues its perfect unfoldment. Personal addictions, hidden compulsions, desperate needs to control what creates fear, all these shadows emerge not through your exposure, but through the natural intensification of light that accompanies spiritual evolution. As your frequency rises, what cannot match that frequency must either transform or depart. There exists no middle ground in this spiritual law. What seems like betrayal from a limited perspective reveals itself as necessary, sorting from expanded awareness. Would you choose to move forward surrounded by those who secretly work against your highest good? The universe loves you too much to allow such contamination to remain hidden as you step into your next level of service and power. Your energy field has become so refined that it automatically triggers responses in people carrying unresolved trauma or hidden guilt. Some become uncomfortable around you without understanding why, while others feel compelled to confess secrets never shared before. Your presence alone now serves as a frequency detector for authentic versus manipulative intentions. The sorting happening around you isn't personal rejection, it's cosmic curation. Your consciousness has been upgraded to such precision that it can only maintain harmony with energies that support growth, truth, and genuine connection. Everything else feels energetically toxic and naturally repels from your field. Those departing your reality are making space for connections that can not only match your elevated frequency but amplify it. The relationships being removed were energetic drains disguised as support systems. What's coming will feel like finally breathing clean air after unknowingly suffocating in polluted environments for extended periods. Through this fire of purification, your authentic purpose stands increasingly revealed, not just to you but to all with eyes to see. The creativity once targeted now flows with renewed force. The business once sabotaged now aligns with opportunities of perfect resonance. The gifts once undermined now find platforms for expression that reach precisely those meant to receive them. This isn't random luck or coincidental timing. It's the direct manifestation of divine recognition. The universe acknowledges your steadfastness through trial, and responding with proportional support. What was stolen returns multiplied. What was blocked now flows with increased momentum. What was hidden now shines with unmistakable clarity. Your career path forward requires spiritual cleansing, not because you carry corruption, but because you've walked through corrupt energies that left residue on your field. The spiritual practices aren't mere ritual, but practical energy management, dissolving attachments that would otherwise cloud the clarity of your next vision, your next download, your next directive. Notice how your tolerance for superficial connections has completely evaporated. You can no longer pretend to enjoy shallow conversations or maintain relationships based on convenience rather than genuine resonance. This isn't antisocial behavior, it's spiritual maturity that recognizes the precious nature of your energy and refuses to waste it on interactions that don't serve growth or authentic connection. Now I want to take a moment to tell you about a few individuals that shouldn't exist. A trained occultist who escaped from a satanic coven, a former Black Ops drone pilot who flew swarms with his mind, a multi-millionaire psychic CFO who predicted market shifts before they happened. What do these remarkable individuals have in common? You'll find them all in the Obsidian Inner Order, where they share their forbidden knowledge on our private Discord server. My chosen soul has drunk deep from the well of knowledge aeon after aeon. In this incarnation, these extraordinary individuals became my allies in the Obsidian Inner Order. They recognized the call, they stepped forward, they connected with others who understand their unique gifts and burdens. What is stopping you from manifesting the same? The synchronicities that brought them here weren't accidents. Neither is your discovery of this message. When souls of this caliber gather, the Archons take notice. They fear our collective power. They know what happens when the truly awakened find each other. Join our weekly calls, hear their stories firsthand, share your own journey with those who won't dismiss or doubt you. The knowledge exchanged in our private channels cannot be found anywhere else on this plane. Click the link in the description below now. The extraordinary souls await your arrival. The question isn't whether you belong among them. The question is, how much longer will you wait to claim your place? Your standards for everything have elevated beyond what others consider reasonable. The food you eat, the entertainment you consume, the environments you inhabit, the conversations you engage in, all must now pass a frequency test that most people don't even know exists. What used to seem normal now feels energetically toxic, and what used to feel challenging now energizes and inspires you. Your words now carry activation codes for others walking similar paths of initiation. When you speak from this purified awareness, you transmit not just information but transformation, catalyzing awakenings in those prepared to receive such frequencies. People tell you that conversations with you leave them feeling different, thinking differently, seeing possibilities they couldn't perceive before. The injustice that was meant to silence your voice instead refined it into an instrument of such precision that it cuts through illusion like a laser through fog. Your ability to discern truth from deception, authentic motivation from manipulative presentation, has become supernatural in its accuracy. Others begin seeking your perspective precisely because they recognize this gift, though they may not understand its origin. Your presence alone now triggers responses in people who carry hidden guilt or unresolved trauma. They become uncomfortable around you without understanding why, or they feel compelled to confess things they've never told anyone else. Your energy field has been calibrated to frequency levels that automatically expose what others try to conceal. The very injustice that was meant to break your spirit instead broke you open to channel forces that transcend ordinary human consciousness. You've become a conduit for divine will, a translator of cosmic intelligence, a bridge between dimensions that most people experience as separate and incompatible. What unfolds exceeds personal vindication. Your individual justice serves as merely one thread in a much larger cosmic reweaving. The exposure of what was done to you simultaneously exposes systems of manipulation that have operated unchecked for generations. Your personal story becomes a case study in universal principle. This explains the magnitude you sense approaching, the bigness that feels disproportionate to your individual circumstance. Some with public platforms, some with celebrity status, some with institutional power, find themselves caught in this same net of revelation, not because of their connection to your specific situation, but because the same cosmic cleaning crew addresses similar violations across multiple domains simultaneously. The technology that enabled their surveillance of you is now being exposed as part of larger privacy violations affecting millions. The financial systems they used to pressure you are being revealed as instruments of broader economic manipulation. The social networks they mobilized against your reputation are being unmasked as coordinated disinformation campaigns with implications far beyond your personal situation. Your case isn't isolated, it's representative. The patterns of abuse you endured mirror patterns being exposed in industries, institutions, and power structures around the world. Your silence during the attack preserved evidence that now serves investigations into systemic corruption you never knew you were documenting. Your refusal to react preserved your credibility for testimony you didn't know you would give. The nosy ones who monitor your abundance now face scrutiny themselves. Their obsession with your financial success has drawn attention to their own questionable income sources. The handsome enigmatic figure who operated from shadows now stands in uncomfortable light as part of investigations into networks you never fully understood but somehow always sensed existed. The one who manipulated mansion walls now confronts crumbling foundations, literally and figuratively. Property investigations, financial audits, and social scrutiny converge on their carefully constructed image, with timing that seems impossibly coordinated, yet follows no human orchestration. These parallel revelations follow the same universal law through different manifestations, creating a symphony of justice across octaves of influence. Your individual victory resonates through dimensions you're only beginning to perceive. The courage you showed by remaining silent while being attacked has inspired others to break their silence about similar injustices. The integrity you maintained under pressure has become a template for others facing comparable tests. The wisdom you gained through suffering has become medicine for those experiencing similar trials. As these revelations accelerate and intensify, your position remains clear. Stand in unwavering truth without need to force its recognition. The validation you seek from others becomes increasingly irrelevant as cosmic confirmation surrounds you with undeniable evidence of your correct perception. The gaslighting that once made you question your reality now dissolves against the harsh light of exposed deception. You didn't need to fight to win this battle. Your victory was mathematically certain from the moment the first strike against you violated universal law. The outcome was determined not by superior strategy or force, but by fundamental principle that governs reality beyond human manipulation. Their effort to destroy you through unjust means carried within it the seeds of their own exposure. Their attempts to dim your light only highlighted the darkness of their methods. Their coordination against your solitary stand revealed their weakness, not their strength, the fundamental insecurity that requires numbers to face what authentic power confronts directly. The silence that confused and frustrated them was actually your graduation ceremony from victim consciousness into creator consciousness. Your refusal to engage in their drama was proof that you had evolved beyond the frequency where such conflicts can exist. Your elevation above their attempts at degradation demonstrated mastery over emotional manipulation that most people never achieve. Your former enemies become irrelevant to your reality, not because they've been destroyed, but because you've transcended the dimensional space where their tactics have any power. They continue their games on a playground you no longer inhabit, swinging at targets that exist only in their limited perception of reality. The greatest victory isn't their defeat, it's your realization that defeating them was never necessary. The real battle was always internal, maintaining your connection to truth while illusion raged around you, preserving your integrity while corruption pressed from all sides, keeping your heart open while hatred attempted to close it. Stand in the fullness of this realized truth. What they intended for harm served instead as the precise catalyst for your greatest expansion. This cosmic alchemy, transforming darkness into light, opposition into opportunity, persecution into power, represents spiritual mastery in its most practical application. You've become living proof that chosen ones are forged by fire, not broken by it. The universe delivers justice not through punishment but through perfect mathematical balance. Each action returns to its source with precise calibration. Each intention manifests its corresponding consequence without need for external enforcement. Each deception unravels through its own inherent instability, and each choice to maintain integrity under attack activates protection protocols that operate beyond human understanding. Your role in this grand restoration was simply to stand firm in your truth, while universal law completed its meticulous work. The silence they mistook for weakness was actually profound strength, the spiritual maturity to recognize that some battles are won, not through engagement, but through elevation beyond the limited field where they appear to take place. What unfolds now proceeds with or without your orchestration, because it follows laws more fundamental than human will or interference. The divine timing perfectly aligns revelation with readiness, both yours and the collective's. What once seemed delayed now reveals itself as precisely calibrated to unfold when its impact serves the highest good of all concerned. You've become a living testament to what happens when chosen ones refuse to break under pressure, designed to shatter ordinary consciousness. Your silence created a vacuum that universal intelligence filled with resources, opportunities, and revelations that no human planning could have arranged. The very space your enemies thought they had conquered became the launching pad for your ascension to levels of power and influence beyond their comprehension. Your former adversaries have become irrelevant, not because you defeated them, but because you transcended the dimensional frequency where their manipulations have any power. While they continue playing games on a playground you no longer inhabit, you operate from realms where their tactics cannot reach, their schemes cannot penetrate, and their influence cannot diminish the cosmic forces now working on your behalf. The injustice that once felt like a curse has revealed itself as the greatest blessing of your spiritual evolution, the catalyst that transformed you from someone who hoped for justice into someone who embodies it so completely that it radiates from your very presence, automatically correcting imbalances wherever you go. Your journey through injustice has forged you into an instrument of cosmic will that operates at frequencies they cannot perceive, much less interfere with. The attacks that were meant to silence your voice instead refined it into a frequency that awakens others from the spell of believing that power comes from external sources rather than internal alignment with universal truth. With this cosmic rebalancing, your journey was never about vengeance but transcendence. What was meant to destroy you has instead revealed your extraordinary resilience and connection to something far greater than yourself. Now stand in the power of that revelation as divine justice unfolds with perfect precision around you, requiring nothing from you but continued alignment with the truth that has sustained you through fire into transformation. The silent thunder you became through their attacks now echoes across dimensions they cannot perceive, announcing to all conscious beings that the chosen ones cannot be broken, only forged into instruments of cosmic will. Your victory is complete, not because you defeated enemies, but because you transcended the need for enemies to exist. In maintaining your silence when chaos demanded reaction, you discovered the ultimate power, the ability to remain connected to Source when everything around you disconnects from sanity. This is what it means to be chosen, not to be spared from trials, but to be equipped with the spiritual technology necessary to transform those trials into triumphs that benefit not just yourself, but everyone whose consciousness is ready to receive the frequency of your victory. Your silence was never submission, it was the cosmic pause before the universal amplification of truth that no amount of human noise can ever drown out again.